Joining us now is Andrei Zagorodniak. He is the former Ukrainian Minister of Defense, the co-founder and chairman of the security think tank Center for Defense Strategies. Andrei, it is good to see you again. Thank you for being with us again. Look, there's a perception amongst many Western intelligence officials that Vladimir Putin may do something to commemorate May 9th, not just because that might be something that would be expected in Russia, but because of how poorly this war has been going. What are your thoughts on this?
Well, first of all, obviously, it's been going poorly. That's a fact. They couldn't reach any serious strategic objectives and failed in many operational objectives, so which means that they're failing. And the fact that we started a counteroffensive, which means that all those might, which was projected for years and decades, and all those like numbers of soldiers and troops and equipment and so on, it doesn't mean that they are effective, and doesn't mean that they can achieve proper results. So the fact that this has been going to parade, and right now they're going to show in a red square this nice painted, the equipment and so on, it absolutely doesn't mean that they can be effectively fighting. And obviously, that's embarrassment. So they need probably to do something about that. And that's what is our concern.
Do you have any, does it matter, this whole talk about whether Russia and Putin may declare war on Ukraine? This is just a weird thing, right? Because to Ukrainians, every Ukrainian I spoke to while I was in the country, when we were both in the country, thought this is a war. They were also very clear that the fact that this war basically started in 2014. Does this matter, this business of it being a war or not being a war for Putin's purposes?
I remember talking to you when you were in Lviv, as I remember, right? And you clearly understand this is a war already. This is a war where Russians are putting all their might, all their capabilities. So the fact that they do declare this or they don't declare doesn't matter for us. We're already in the war for a long time.
Despite Vladimir Putin's need for some victory, whether it's before or after May 9th, Russia's moving slowly in eastern Ukraine. There is some sense that this is just a continuation of a failed strategy in the battlefield. There's some sense, and it's been this way for some weeks, that they are regrouping for something. And there have been warnings, particularly in Luhansk, that they're ready for a massive offensive. What do you know and think about this?
There's been already for a couple of weeks, and yes, they are, and yes, they're trying to do this. The problem is that they cannot complete that successfully so far, at least. And but this whole new plan was a new offensive. It's been already for some time. So if they were successful, they would be successful for some time. So this is not happening according to the plan as well. But it's tough. I'm not downplaying this. This is a very tough time right now in eastern Ukraine.
Well, let's explore that a little bit more, because the spirit and the morale and the resolve of Ukrainians, both the military, the people, the president, it has all been remarkable and to some degree even surprising to the West, who didn't know much about this. But it is hard. And if this becomes a protracted war, the advantage lies with Russia. It's bigger. It's got the ability to conscript people. What happens if you and I are still talking about this in 6 months?
Two things. First of all, conscripting people means they're bringing lots of inexpensive and very low-trained force. So, and one of the key lessons from this war is that numbers are not which are critically decisive. The efficiency is what decisive is. And NATO standards and NATO ways of handling the operations and planning the forces, which Ukraine have taken over the last 8 years, showing that this is way more effective and way more productive. So if Russians are bringing more hundreds of thousands of soldiers, of course it's going to be a problem, but it's not going to kill us. But protracted war is something we need to avoid by all costs, because this is not where we want to go. We want to assemble a critical mass of equipment, the capabilities, and actually get them out of our country as soon as we can. We're not interested in a long war.
I want to ask you about Mariupol and the Azovstal steel plant. To many Americans, it will be reminiscent of the legendary Alamo. It is the last stand. Whether or not the Ukrainians are able to prevail in that plant, they are surrounded by Russians. What do you know? We don't know much about Mariupol, right? We get our information from the Red Cross, who are evacuating people, but there are no Western journalists operating out of there. We get images like the ones you're looking at from time to time. What can you tell us about Mariupol?
Well, there's no Ukrainian journalists either because this is a living hell. To be honest, I mean, Mariupol is a horrible place right now. It's 99% destroyed. Our forces are holding in this plant, and obviously they're doing anything they can, but they're outnumbered unspeakably, and it's extremely tough situation for some time. And the fact that they've been holding there for so long, it's already absolutely remarkable. It's just astonishing. The fact that they're still saving civilians which are there in Mariupol, and the fact that they are evacuating them as we speak, is remarkable as well. And I sincerely hope, and as all our other Ukrainians, is that they evacuate all civilians, and that they somehow we still can get to the point when we actually get the victory over Russia.
These
Because
images,
it's just a matter of time.
these images that are being shown on the screen next to you are historic images that I think will be remembered for all time when we talk about this war in the end. The resolve of the Ukrainian people and the people in Mariupol who have sustained this assault and this attack for going on 2 months now. It is remarkable. Andrei, good to see you again. Thank you for being with us as always.
Good to see you again. Thank
Former
you.
Ukrainian Minister of Defense Andrei Zagorodniak.